Don't know why I had to click go live, but should definitely be live. Don't know what the deal is with that. What's going on? Should definitely be live. Don't know what the deal is with that. What's going on? Should definitely be live. Don't know. Okay, just getting everything set up. Okay, I also don't know why that's the picture. Should definitely not be the channel logo. Anyone that's in the chat, let me know that you can see me, you can hear me. Hello, Cappy. Nice to see you again. Audio is what Wi-Fi? Audio is good? Audio is not good? I had a feeling. Okay, I think we're good. Yeah, I think we're all good. Okay, so we'll get started. I don't need this, so. Yeah, so we'll get started now. So this is, as the video suggests, this is an impromptu sort of last minute stream idea I came up with. Well, it had been on my mind for a couple of weeks, but especially with the fact that this week Rooster Teeth, the video production entertainment company, officially closed its doors this year, and this week. So I decided, pretty much, I think at the start of the week, that I wanted to do something on it because Rooster Teeth has had quite the influence on me. It's had quite the influence on my interests as a content creator, as a sort of it sort of influenced what I watch as well on YouTube in a way, and has done now for well over 13 years. So because this was all very last minute, but I wanted this to be as I didn't want this to just be me mumbling and stumbling my way through this. So I even tried to write some notes. I got the old notepad out and wrote some quick bullet points on here to sort of keep us on topic and sort of get across all the points that I wanted to. And then at the end, I figured we'd do some tier lists based around Rooster Teeth content. In fact, actually, that reminds me. For anyone that joins the chat, let me know your favourite Rooster Teeth videos or moments or memories, if you have one. So I'm just putting that in the chat for anyone that joins, that sees, basically, and we'll pin the message as well so people can see it. Yeah, so just throughout the stream, if anyone joins, let me know. And obviously don't put any links in, obviously, but yeah, so I decided it'd be a nice little thing that I wanted to do, and yeah, just talk about it basically. So as of this Friday that's just passed, May the 10th, Rooster Teeth officially closed its offices, and then I think yesterday, Saturday, May the 11th, the company officially stopped running as a company. I believe there are still technically employees that are sort of wrapping everything up, but officially Rooster Teeth ceased to exist as of yesterday, May the 11th, which means that the company ran for, or existed for, 21 years, 1 month and 10 days, which I did some math and discovered that that's 7,710 days from when Rooster Teeth officially started as a company on April 1st, 2003, through to yesterday, May the 11th, 2024. Yeah, 21 years. Pretty crazy. There's people in the Halo jumping community, plenty of people in the Halo jumping community, that have not even been alive for 21 years, which is just mad to think right now. Yeah, the influence that Rooster Teeth had on me, it's an interesting one, because when my phone stopped, didn't stay live, so I lost the chat for a second then. Yeah, it's an interesting one for me. So my first following or understanding of just anything Rooster Teeth content related came about sometime around Christmas or early December 2010. I'd got my first laptop for my 16th birthday, which was in the September. And at that point, I'd basically just sort of like, that was my first proper foray into sort of online media, online entertainment. You know, even though I was 16, I'd been at high school or senior school for 4 years. This is really bad. I can't even remember when I first went to big school. um, yeah, yeah, 4 years, I guess. Um, yeah, despite that many years, I didn't really. I had a phone, but I didn't have YouTube on the phone because it was a crappy Nokia. I didn't really have access to any sort of mainstream online entertainment. Obviously, the Rooster Teeth website had already been set up. Didn't know that that existed. Didn't know anything about it. YouTube was still in its early days. Social media was only just getting going. So when I got my laptop and started going on YouTube, obviously I'd heard of YouTube, but I just didn't really go on it, or I didn't get a reason to go on it or an opportunity to go on it all that much. Although, funnily enough, even though I didn't get my first laptop until I was 16, I did find out about Halo jumping way before then, because I got lucky on a school computer which didn't have YouTube blocked. And I can't remember the specifics around it. I must have just randomly typed like Ninja Warrior Halo or something, or Halo Ninja Warrior. Not obviously Halo Ninja Warrior the show, but just Ninja Warrior on Halo, and that's how I discovered Spartan Warrior. Got interested in it, but that's all for a different stream, another story. Jumping Origins is for another stream. Yeah, but roll 3 months after I've got my laptop, December 2010, and I just randomly stumbled across Horse, Achievement Horse, Episode 1, which I'm hoping I haven't botched the dates here, I think had just come out, or had come out around that time. Watched it, thought it was really cool, and just the rest was history from there in terms of getting into Rooster Teeth, or getting into Achievement Hunter first, but then through Achievement Hunter getting into Rooster Teeth. So, I mean, the likes of Horse, RWBY, Fails of the Week, Rage Quit. Rage Quit was just so funny. I just thought it was the funniest thing. What's this? It was a small course called Ninja Warrior of Halo. You're funny, Wi-Fi. And then through Achievement Hunter, eventually into other Rooster Teeth content, which then obviously led to the big one being Red versus Blue. Now I'm just going to quickly disappear off camera, guys, just for a split second, so that you can see. I accidentally, I don't follow, I'm not subscribed to the Modern Cam Era guy, but I accidentally, I think it was just in my suggestions 2 days ago, or 2 nights ago, Friday night, he did his own live stream, and he had a pretty cool little intro, pretty cool little outro. It was like a a sort of best of video with some very beautiful music. So if you want to see a much more coordinated production, go check out this video, because it was really good. Especially the I don't know if he edited together the montage compilation video at the end, but it was a fantastic watch. But anyway, getting back on track. Hey, I'm back. So Yeah, so I was hooked basically from that point onwards. I subscribed because this was all on the Rooster Teeth channel. This was way before they set up Achievement Hunter as its own channel. I was just hooked. I just thought all their content, Horse, RWBY, Rage Quit, all this stuff. I just thought it was all hilarious, and it got me. It had such an influence on me, both as a content creator. It made me want to get into content creation. In some ways, you could say it influenced my decision, or it was one of the influences for my decision to set up Ninja War of Halo. But then it also influenced me as a gamer. Halo jumping obviously is a huge part of my life, and is without a doubt the reason why I still play Halo. But in those early days, particularly on Halo Reach, it was honestly the Achievement Hunter content that kept me hooked on playing Halo, or playing on Halo Reach, which then obviously expanded to Halo 4. And then by the time Halo 4 came around, Smokey's course got set up, other guys started having goes at courses, and then by that point I was permanently hooked to Halo through Halo jumping. But in those early days, because back end of Halo Reach, the only course that was going on was mine, so for me, I didn't have many courses to run. So if I was just relying on Halo jumping as a reason to keep playing Halo, things could have been very, very different. And Horse played a big part of that. I think watching a new episode of Horse every week, and seeing all these different maps and stuff, it made me want to go and download those maps, want to try those maps that I saw and thought, oh my god, this is really cool. You know, especially obviously the obstacle course ones, and even like just the random ones where you've just got to launch yourself and like get a fluky landing onto a platform or something on a mongoose or something obscure like that. So I got a hell of a lot of memories, and even though that I didn't transfer it all over onto MCC, but if I loaded up my original Halo Reach, I can't now obviously, but if I could, I'd probably find a crap ton of maps that I downloaded or bookmarked that were Horse related maps, or maps that we used in Horse. I think the other thing that also had an impact on me is the fact that it was all series based. In fact, you know what? Wi-Fi's just mentioned it, so hang on. We're just going to make a quick unintentional detour because you've just reminded me of it. That was a good call, Wi-Fi. So one of the first videos I uploaded, actually, where is it? It's this here. So this is my 9th video ever. I uploaded this either on the same day or the day after I uploaded the first ever episode of Niwa. And the two reasons I uploaded this is because, one, because it gave me an opportunity to say, hey, I finally got my capture card working. Here's an example of me using my capture card successfully to play on a map. And the second reason was the fact that the map was, I'm pretty sure, used in an episode of Horse. Shout out to 16-year-old or 17-year-old me face. But yeah, since we're here, so this is the Rooster Teeth YouTube channel, not the Achievement Hunter. And yeah, it's just the impact it had on me as a fan was just, it was funny, it was engaging, and you know, actually it was also relatable. I think so. I've said about all these different, like I've said about Horse and I've said about Rage Quit, but that, I mean, I could list off a bajillion shows like Go, Versus, Shenanigans, the RT podcast, which I know Smokey was hugely into. He was a huge fan of the RT podcast. And the RT Life as well, like, so the Rooster Teeth Life videos that they used to put out. I think those videos I really appreciated, because it showed off. It showed off the company, but it showed off the people in the company. It wasn't just. It helped you relate to all of the people that that worked at Rooster Teeth, because they could obviously just put out Horse and all the Achievement Hunter stuff and Red versus Blue, but they made the effort with those, I think, with those RT Life videos, to show off Rooster Teeth, the people. And yeah, honestly, for me, it made me just like fall in love with the company even more, because you could see these normal people, these just ordinary human beings that were just creating content that they loved just for a laugh. Like, probably one of my favorite videos in all of Rooster Teeth is something so simple, it's so basic, and it's the hide and seek video that they did, I think, in 2019. And it's literally what the title suggests. They just played a game of hide and seek and just hid somewhere in one of the company buildings, and they had to find them. And it was just so basic, but it was so funny and so relatable. It showed to me that these guys loved doing what they did, and it made me fall in love with watching them. And like many millions of people, probably at some point in the past, made me sort of wish I could work for that company, or wish I could have a job similar to working at Rooster Teeth once upon a time. So I'm on the channel right now. This is obviously the most recent content they put up. They just released this. This is a really cool video. In fact, I recommend any of this stuff. If you're a big Rooster Teeth fan, or you used to be a Rooster Teeth fan and have kind of dropped off, but you're kind of umming and ahhing about going back to see their final productions, I mean, you can watch this because it's literally 2 minutes, and it's just showing off as much of their 21 years of content as possible. I mean, this is just hilarious. This is literally, I mean, you've got 4 of the original creators playing the original Halo on the original Xbox and just vibing for about 8 to 9 minutes. This is their final ever stream that they did. It says 11 days ago, but I'm pretty sure it was about 2 weeks ago, or 2.5. And yeah, in fact, no, yeah, it was 16 days ago. 16 days ago is when they did this live stream. It was on a Friday, and it's 6 hours. So if you did want to watch it, you're in for a long haul. It's basically everyone that was available in the company. They all came on in groups of like up to 10 people, roughly, and they all talked about basically their favorite moments, their favorite memories working at the company. And then it concluded by getting Bernie, who flew back in, and 2 of the other. Well, Jason Saldana, he's technically also a creator, one of the founders of Rooster Teeth, and Becca Jones, I think, or Becca James, Rebecca James. I can't remember if her surname's James or Jones, who she voiced Sister in Red versus Blue in the early days, but she had been basically a part of Rooster Teeth since the very beginning. So the 3 of them came on at the very end. So you're talking literally 3 of the original members of Rooster Teeth, and they came on for about 30 or 40 minutes, and they talked about some of their memories working at Rooster Teeth. Even though none of the 3 of them work there anymore, like Bernie left like in late 2020. The whole thing, honestly, I loved it. People got emotional. People were crying during it. I was crying at certain. Well, not crying, but I was getting emotional because they were getting emotional. Some of them, and yeah, just I mean, I've said it already. The influence that Rooster Teeth had on me, and I've stayed a fan. I never stopped being a fan. Obviously, their content changed, especially in the last 3 years. And slowly their content dwindled, and there was less and less stuff going up on YouTube. But I never stopped being a fan of Rooster Teeth. It's probably... Rooster Teeth content is probably something I've watched more Rooster Teeth. I've watched more Rooster Teeth, Achievement Hunter, all of that. I've watched all of that more than anything else probably on YouTube, and that includes Halo jumping. And you think Halo jumping is my life, basically. It's a part of my life. But no, there's no way. Like how many hours and hours of content could you get through watching just rage quit videos? How many hours of content is there just for horse videos? I've watched all that stuff. So yeah, there's no doubt in my mind that Rooster Teeth has probably been the thing I've watched the most out of anything in my history of watching YouTube. Yeah, it's just really, really wonderful. Since we're still in here, I might as well have a glance. I'm not going to click on any of these videos, but we'll scroll down through the channel and just make a reference. I mean, this, for me, when I think of Red versus Blue, this is the thing I think of more than anything else. The Season 8 fight, where Tex just destroys the Reds and Blues, is still probably the best thing, the best Red versus Blue moment, in my opinion. Not just because of how hilarious it is, but also just because the use of green screen, or the fighting, I forget the words, it escaped me. The live action machinima fighting aspects of it. It just took the whole show to a new level. I know some people are a bit iffy about it. I know is very hit and miss about it. He's more of an originals kind of guy. He prefers the original content, the original series, where it was just a bunch of Spartans standing around talking and making jokes. But I think the show took a huge step up when it started doing live action fighting. Yeah, RWBY, good shout, Wi-Fi, RWBY. The third most watched. This is really funny. This is the most watched video. And it's got 26 million views. I think I've probably only watched it about 3 times. Can't really remember this, but yeah, it's their biggest, most popular thing they ever created. RWBY, yeah, this is the other thing for me. This is probably the other thing that's influenced me a lot when it comes to watching Rooster Teeth. I'm not the biggest anime buff in the world. I've watched a bit of anime as a kid, but I've really hooked on RWBY. I got hooked on RWBY right from the start. I mean, I still find it pretty incredible that, like, 3 of their trailers are in the top 8 most viewed videos ever on their channel. And like, this is like what, 30, over 38 million views for these 3 videos combined. I mean, it just goes to show how much people were hyped for RWBY right from the start. Yeah, it's RWBY is probably the thing that's kept me as a Rooster Teeth fan, because I've wanted to keep up to date with the story. There's many things about RWBY that I like or love. We'll get onto that a little bit later. But yeah, in fact, I mentioned the trailers, but even the first episode itself is the 5th most viewed video. I don't know. In my opinion, this is the most iconic Rage Quit video, but I understand why this is the most viewed Rage Quit video. Surgeon Simulator is so funny, but I feel like this is more of an influence to me, the Impossible game. Never really got into Camp, but I know that there are some that just absolutely love it. The first ever episode of Red vs. Blue, it's only the 13th most watched viewed video, which is interesting. Slender, another brilliant video, hilarious. This is only meant to be a PSA video of Red vs. Blue, and yet this is the 16th most watched viewed video. Again, it just goes to show, even a simple little thing like this, that's basically ripping off the campaign, and it's the 16th most viewed video that they've ever released. Laser Team. Okay, yeah, I never watched the 2 Laser Team movies, either of the 2 Laser Team movies, but I know that, like, it was at whenever Laser Team happened, like 2016 or something, 2015, 2016, that's when they really started to take off. Like, They were expanding their productions. You know, they started maybe the first big expansion was setting up the sub branches of like Achievement Hunter and stuff like that. Then they set up RWBY. Then to create their own movie. I just realized RWBY and movie sound very similar. Yeah, being able to create your own movie production, and it released in cinemas, didn't it, and in theaters. So, I mean, that's probably when Rooster Teeth really hit its peak period. More Rage Quit. It's crazy how much Rage Quit is so high up here. One of the RT shorts. I only really watched a handful of the animated adventures stuff, but obviously that was also another huge influence. How do you rage quit in Minecraft? I don't even remember this episode. Was this Michael raging at Gavin over something? I can't really remember. Minecraft. I haven't even mentioned Minecraft. Obviously, I'm not big on Minecraft, as anyone who in the jumping community knows. But although I think I did watch these 2 episodes. I think I watched this just because it was Wipeout. This might have been the only Minecraft content I ever watched. More Rage Quit. Things to do in animated adventures. Fails of the week. The original Fails of the week, just under 5 million views. Shenanigans. All right. Okay. Well. Okay. I'm gonna move off that because Ryan was just briefly on the camera. It's hard. I understand it's hard for some people to watch this anymore because it's all about Ryan, and we'll get onto that as well a little bit later. But yeah, that's first episode of Shenanigans and all of the Shenanigans episodes, but especially this first one. Hilarious to me. Summed up perfectly by the fact that Jeff. People were like in the video, Ray didn't know if they wanted to do it, and Jeff just came out with the perfect, but it's content, and yeah, that just sums up Rooster Teeth in a way. If it's funny, then it's content, and you got to get it out there. RWBY Chibi actually, because I'm big on RWBY, I also got into RWBY Chibi. That ran for a few seasons actually. I don't think it was around for as long as people think, but that was always fun. More animated adventures, RT Life. You know what, we might as well stop here because I think this was when they got to 1 billion views on the channel. Was it? I can't remember if this was when they got to 1 billion views or when they got to 1 million subscribers. One of the two. But that's another huge milestone that they achieved and showed how big they were, or how big they were becoming as a company. Yeah. So the website, so the company is officially shut down. The website shuts down I believe on Wednesday, May the 15th. So all the fantastic content that they have produced down the years, regretfully, this is all about to disappear. But I do know that they're trying to move as much of the content onto the YouTube channels as they can. Yeah, so fingers crossed that obviously they're not going to be able to get all the content onto the YouTube channels, but if they can get as much as possible, then it's an opportunity for people to see some of the content that they didn't get to see. And there's tons of it out there that I haven't watched because even though I follow the website, I was never a first member. I never paid anything to see any of the website exclusive content. But yeah, it's getting moved. Hopefully, we'll see what happens with that. Okay, yeah, this is just I just loaded this. We kind of already talked about it. The productions basically they had. I mentioned the 2 Laser Team films, but yeah, Bloodfest. I've watched this actually, and the reason I remember this is because of this guy, Robbie K, who was in the botched series of Heroes Reborn that came out. I can't remember what year it was, 2016 or something like that. He was one of the main characters in a Heroes series, and so I recognized him from that. in the trailer for this movie, watched the movie at some point, and yeah, it was fun. It was all right. But I haven't watched any of these. We'll come on to this a little bit later. Yeah, I mean, I'm just going to quickly skim through these. Between the games, that was another. Again, that showed off like achievement hunter the people, rather than just the content they created. I already said about Camp, didn't I? Genlock. This was another one. I was speaking to Sol about this a couple of days ago. This was another one of the... I watched the first series, didn't... Oh, no, sorry, no. I watched the first episode, but then I think the rest of it was locked behind the website. I think this was another thing when they released it in 2019, it was another example of them trying to sort of expand, or showing off their expansion. Simply because of the people they got in it. Like, they got David Tennant, aka Mr. Doctor Who in the modern Doctor Who era. They got Maisie Williams, aka Game of Thrones. They got tons of people. Like, they got tons of well-known, famous people. Michael B. Jordan voiced the main character. It did get a second season, Wi-Fi, but people kind of forgot about it because it released in 2021. I also didn't know that. I had to look that up when I was prepping for this stream. They did. I knew they released a second season, but what I didn't know is that they released it in 2021. I thought it came out like season 1 came out at the beginning of 2019. I actually thought season 2 came out at the beginning of 2020, but no, it was actually 2021, and then they never made anything else. Hardcore tabletop. This is one of the first, like the Rooster Teeth first content, so it was hidden behind the website. This was one of the things that I wish I got into, because this is the Monopoly. This is the live Monopoly series that they did. There is a season 2, I can assure you. Do you want me to click on it to prove it? In fact, it says it right here. Season 2. There you go. Hardcore tabletop, yeah. This was. I wish I got into this because I'm big on Monopoly. I played a lot of Monopoly as a kid. Haunter. This was just an excuse for them to go running around looking for ghosts, which again seemed like a cool idea. $1 Million Butt, again hilarious. I thought just seeing these different scenarios that they came up with. We've already said about Rage Quit. Play Pals obviously was Gavin and Michael. Red versus Blue. I don't know if I've really touched on Red versus Blue aside from the season 8. Red versus Blue, in my opinion, well, it's not even my opinion, it's just a fact. Machinima on Halo, or machinima in general, machinimation, whatever word you want to use to describe it, wouldn't have become what it was without Red versus Blue. And therefore, you have to, like, Rooster Teeth, anyone that's of a certain age that's played Halo at some point or another will have either heard of Rooster Teeth or heard of Red versus Blue. That's how much of an influence it had at one point on the Halo community or the Halo scene. And then, okay, this is just old series, so yeah, Horse. Bernie Vlogs. I remember watching the Bernie Vlogs. Yeah, he did this for a whole year, and I used to tune in every week to watch him. Him and Ellie Main. I thought they were really funny. Countdown. This was just them doing countdowns, top 5s of video games. Day 5. I never got into this, but I knew it was a big thing. What is game night? As Gavin would say. The No, they released their own news channel, like just to follow gaming news. Yeah, Immersion. Oh my god, yeah. I didn't see the original videos of Immersion, but I got into it really when Michael and Gavin became the guinea pigs, and then Barbara and Lindsay were the helpers. Yeah, Immersion was hilarious. I mean, everything here, there's very few things here that weren't funny or just weren't all out hilarious. Like, I know we just said about Genlock, that didn't really, I don't think that fully hit the right spot, but when they came up with the idea, it was a huge. It was another, like I said, it was just another example of them trying to show off their how much they'd grown as a company. 10 Little Roosters. I watched this. I never watched 11 Little Roosters, but 10 Little Roosters. This was a murder mystery thing. This was I thought this was hilarious as well. A little bit slow, but still funny. And I know, okay, this was probably one of their last great productions that they had in 2020 and 2021. Getting to be involved in a Transformers franchise that aired on Netflix. This was probably one of their Rooster Teeth's last great productions that they were involved in. Oh, okay. You know what? I say if there's one thing that I did watch that in my opinion, didn't hit the mark was X-Ray and Vav. I'd watched X-Ray and Vav. Yeah, I never really thought it was that great, even though I watched it. That was probably one of the ones that I know I've just been saying like most of these hit the mark. There was probably some things here that didn't hit the mark, but they still gave it a go. And then all these different podcasts that they did. I'll just quickly skim through these. Off topic. Again, I know Smokey was huge on the RT podcast. I've watched a handful of. When RT podcast was its peak, I used to watch every so often. It depended on who was on it. It was the same thing with Off Topic. I only really watched certain episodes of Off Topic. But yeah, I mean look, 2008, the thing was going. Rooster Teeth podcast was going in its, like Gus hosted it for like 14 and a half years, or just under 14 and a half years, and then it got the new guys and they ran it until now, basically, when the company shut down. But they're continuing the Rooster Teeth podcast. It's just got a new name. The new guys that that took over the podcast. And then documentary. We don't need to look at all this. Oh, this is all the different companies. Achievement Hunter, Let's Play, which is basically Achievement Hunter. The No, which then became Inside Gaming. Funhouse. I haven't even talked about Funhouse. Funhouse. Classic Funhouse, which again is an awkward subject because of Adam Kovic, but classic Funhouse. I used to watch that, their weekly GTA videos and their weekly demo disc videos. That was another thing I was hooked on. In fact, I loved their GTA 5 videos so much, it made me regret not getting GTA 5. But absolutely set me up to get GTA 6 whenever that comes out. And then this is just the company. This is just the company's main Wikipedia page. I never really got into Screw Attack. I'm not gonna lie. Screw Attack was never really same with Death Battle as well. I know obviously it's got a big following, and I know Death Battle is hopefully continuing. But I never really got into either of those. Oh yeah, RTX. That was another thing I haven't mentioned. A huge part of that showed how big they were as a company. The fact that they ran an annual RTX from. In fact, when did they do? Was the first RTX 2011? Yeah, 2011. So they ran. Oh, in fact, you know what? This is perfect. That sums it up. The fact they went from 600 in the first one to 65,000. That's like over 100 times. That's like 10 times 600 is 6,000. Times that by 10 is 60,000. So that's over 100 times the amount of people that attended. And that's just for the RTX that they hosted in their home city. That's not you before you even take into account they went to Australia 3 years in a row. I also forgot that they went to London, kind of a big rip there. But the fact they went to Australia on the other side of the world 3 times or 3 years in a row, it's just baffling, absolutely baffling to me that baffling and not so baffling at the same time, that they were so popular in that specific part of the world, actually. Like, I get it obviously in America. I even get it in the UK. even though the UK was, pretty, as a country, is pretty small in the grand scheme of the world. But yeah, it's just mad to me. Amazing, but still mad. Yeah, I don't need to skim through the entire history of the company, but actually, where is it? I did just see it just now. Oh, okay, I can't see. I thought I saw something about when they were purchased. I'm trying to find specifically when exactly. When was the first time they got bought out, basically? No, I can't see it. I did see it, and now it's gone. I thought it was here, but it wasn't. I guess it must be this. Somewhere around here. And yeah, Extra Life as well. I never really watched the Extra Life streams, but I mean, the influence they had. I mean, look at that. They've raised over $1 billion through all the different Extra Lives that they did for Children's Hospital. That's the sort of thing that, for someone like Jack Patillo and any of the other people that were regularly involved in Extra Life, that's something that just will stick with you forever. For the fact that you were able to host that and, had an influence in something like that. I'm so glad that the whole shutdown didn't happen last year, so that they got the opportunity to do the 20th anniversary and all the various videos and content, like the one-off. They did a one-off horse, they did a one-off rage quit, they did a one-off $1 million butt, they did a one-off RWBY. They did all sorts. A one-off. I think they did a one-off Camp, but then I think they made another series of Camp. I'm so glad that the company lasted until this year, and all the stuff that's happened didn't happen last year. So that they got the opportunity to do all this. Yeah. So March 6th, 2024, notified employees that the company would close. Reasons for the shutdown included fundamental shifts in consumer behavior and monetization across platforms, advertising, and patronage, with it being reported that the number of subscribers to Rooster Teeth's first service had dropped to around a quarter of its peak, and Rooster Teeth as a whole had been unprofitable for a decade. Yeah, it's just sad, but not surprising, because even though I am the fan that I have been for such a long time, I knew, even as a huge fan, that the company had problems, and the company was probably slowly but surely dying a slow death. So when this happened on this day, initially I actually thought this was a joke. I thought it was like an early April Fool's joke when the news initially came out. But then when it started appearing on like mainstream online media and mainstream media websites, I knew then that it was true. But as I say, I was shocked but not surprised. Yeah. We've already said about Red vs. Blue, RWBY, Camp, Genlock. Okay, this was the other thing I wanted. Yeah, so I think this was another thing, the Strangerhood, which was their Sims series. I think that was another thing that I don't think entirely hit the mark. I think they tried something, and in my opinion, it didn't really work, but they tried it. Similar with X-Ray and Vav. People were big on Nomad of Nowhere, weren't they? They were big into that. Live productions, yeah, the RT shorts, immersion we've already said about. I wonder what the most popular immersion video ever was. Slow-mo guys, although I always consider slow-mo guys its own separate thing. On the Spot, again, I never really properly got into On the Spot, but I watched a handful of episodes, but I was never like a regular viewer of On the Spot. And then yeah, this is all the different podcasts and other series based stuff that this is really bad. I remember watching backwards compatible, but I'm having a total mind blank actually picturing any of the individual episodes. I mean, I would have watched it because of this and this, because I'm very big on these two games. But obviously they did other games apart from the ones here. But I can't remember anything. I literally have a total mind blank on it. Yeah, they also the production of all the video games they did. Mostly the biggest ones being RWBY related stuff, but. And then yeah, here's all the sub-series. Achievement Hunter. In my opinion, and this is maybe a little bit of a bias because Achievement Hunter was the thing that got me into Rooster Teeth. I think Achievement Hunter was probably one of their biggest successes. Obviously, they started with Red vs. Blue, so many people will say Red vs. Blue is their biggest success. I think RWBY and Achievement Hunter surpassed Red vs. Blue in terms of the biggest production, or one of their biggest successes. Let's Play, Inside Gaming. Yeah, we've already said about all this. Funhouse. That one's for you. Wi-Fi. RTX. Yeah, Let's Play Live. Let's Play Live. Actually, that was also another big thing. They went all over America. They also went to Australia and also went to the UK to do that. The podcasts, the variety of different podcasts they had. But we also, so I'm not gonna hover on this too much, but yes, in fact, I'm not even gonna like keep the mouse over the screen, but we will talk about the controversies, which obviously a part of, it's one of many reasons. Like, there's more than, me and Sol were talking about this the other day. There's many factors. In fact, you know what? I'll get the camera back up because I haven't been on camera for a while. Hello, I'm still here. There's many factors that have influenced why what's happened has happened to Rooster Teeth. For all the, their peak, I don't know when their peak years were. Maybe it was around 2010 when Achievement Hunter was really taking off with its weekly series-based content. Maybe their peak years was when RWBY started in 2013, or just after 2013, because obviously RWBY started in 2013. They had the movie in 2015, 2016. Then Genlock in 2019. So I don't know. RTX, obviously they went to RTX Australia in 2016, 17, 18. RTX London in 2017, 18. So yeah, maybe their peak years was sometime around that 2013, 2014 period through to about 2018, 2019. Because the controversies really, I think, started to properly kick off in 2019. I know they had to let go of a sizable chunk of their workforce in 2019. Jeff had to get on the camera to apologise for the people that had been made redundant or just fired. So yeah, maybe if their peak continued, if their peak ended in 2019, maybe it was when those firings or when those redundancies happened is when the peak years officially properly ended. And then obviously the COVID didn't help. Like, COVID killed so many companies. I lost my job because of COVID. Obviously I'm just one individual, but whole companies went under because of COVID. Rooster Teeth managed to carry on. They managed to make it work. I think the content they released from home on all their different channels, Rooster Teeth, RT Life, Achievement Hunter, The Know or Inside Gaming, Funhouse. I think they did a great job continuing to create content despite being stuck at home. But there's no doubt that the pandemic would have played a huge role in it. The amount of money lost from being stuck at home, not being able to create any proper live content, the influence it had on RWBY. Like, RWBY was delayed releasing its 8th season, And then after being a yearly production from when it started, there was then a 2-year gap from season 8 to season 9 happening, and season 9 coming out last year. But then, of course, that's all factors that are sort of external, maybe out of their control somewhat. The controversies that were definitely within their control were things like the Ryan Hayward incident, the Adam Kovic incident, what happened when Caden, formerly of Achievement Hunter, she released her scathing opinion of Achievement Hunter, the workplace. Mika Burton, I think she was also critical. Fiona Nova, when she was still an employee at Achievement Hunter, they did a whole podcast on Off Topic, talking about the issues that she had, being a person of color, I believe, and being female as well. I don't want to get into too much detail about it. Anyone that's a fan of Rooster Teeth or Achievement Hunter or Funhouse already knows all of this, but it, without doubt, had a huge negative impact. It drove, in my opinion, a lot of the fan base away. And it was probably the beginning of, that was the beginning of the end, you know. If the redundancies in 2019 was the end of Rooster Teeth's peak years, then all of the stuff that happened in 2020, in late 2020, because I think the Mika Burton, the Fiona Nova, the Ryan Hayward, and the Adam Kovic incident all happened within a close proximity of each other in mid to late 2020. I think all of that was the starting point for the beginning of the end of Rooster Teeth. And it pains me. It really does pain me to say that, but I think it's almost undeniable. So there's two other things I think I want to cover before we move on to the tier lists section of the live stream. One of which was actually the big regret I have from Rooster Teeth shutdown. I'm looking at my notes, ladies and gentlemen, in case you're wondering why I'm looking down. Just making sure I haven't missed anything. Yeah. So, the big regret I have from this shutdown is that I then immediately went to the Rooster Teeth website, or the Rooster Teeth store on their website, because I immediately in my head, for the fan I am, I never bought anything from the store, but the fan that I am, I knew I wanted to get some sort of memorabilia for Rooster Teeth. And when I first went on the store, there was all sorts of stuff. There was RWBY t-shirts, Red vs. Blue t-shirts, Achievement Hunter t-shirts. Obviously not just t-shirts, clothes in general. Rooster Teeth shirts, merch, all that stuff. There was the $1 million but card game that was really interesting me. And all of that, and I thought, okay, it'd be pretty cool. Like, it's going to cost a lot of money for me to get all of these, but if I could get some of these as memorabilia, it'd be pretty cool. Here's the problem. When I came up with this idea, it was like mid to late March, and I'd already had a pretty expensive month with my credit card. So I thought, should I be spending more money and like putting even more on my credit card balance that I've then got to pay off at the end of the month? Not sure about this. I know what I'll do. I'll wait till the end of March, I'll pay off my credit card, and then the 1st of April, or the first week of April, I'll then go on this spending spree and buy all this stuff. Yeah. I come to the first week of April, I go to the store, there's nothing. It's all been sold out, it's all gone, there's only a handful of items left. And obviously, because the company's shutting down, they're not going to create more merch, are they? So all those RWBY shirts, all those Red vs. Blue t-shirts, once they're all gone, they're not going to create any more, are they? Because they've got no reason to with the company shutting down. So the only thing, or there was about 3 or 4 items that were still available to purchase in the store. And this is the one thing I decided to get. that I thought was worth it. So this is, if it looks like a shitty mask, it's kind of because it is. I mean, it's pretty good quality. It's a pretty good make. It's already getting dust on it. This, for any RWBY fans out there, this is the mask worn by Maria Calavera, aka the Grim Reaper, in RWBY Season 6. And I'm going to put it on. Oh, it even says, it's even got RWBY written on the back. So, I'm going to embarrass myself here by putting it on. I'm looking like an absolute idiot wearing it. I mean, when am I going to wear this? When am I going to go out in public and wear this? Is there going to be a Rooster Teeth fan convention, like in memorial of Rooster Teeth? Yeah. This was the only thing I could buy that was, like, I could make a justifiable reason for buying it, because the only other things were a necklace and some earrings. And in case you didn't know, in case it wasn't already obvious, I'm not an earrings kind of guy. Yeah, I could wear it at Halloween, but, like, who's going to know? Like, you can see my mouth. You can see my teeth through this thing. Like, it doesn't even cover my whole face. I've got a way better mask that I could wear for Halloween. It's, I don't know where it is, but it's... So, yeah, so now that I've put that on camera, probably all I'm going to do with it is dump it somewhere in my room. Probably never wear it again, but anytime I, stumble across it when I'm looking for something, I can look up and think, oh yeah, that's the memory I have of Rooster Teeth. That's my contribution to say I bought a piece of Rooster Teeth merch. Even though it's a shitty bloody mask, and I would have much preferred the t-shirt or the card game, it's something, at least. Yeah. But at least it was something RWBY related, because RWBY, whether you like it or not, RWBY is the biggest thing. Bernie even said it on the final goodbye live stream. RWBY is the biggest, most popular production that Rooster Teeth has ever created, even surpassing Red vs. Blue. So I said there was two things. The one other thing, aside from the merch, is for any Rooster Teeth fans out there that is worried that, because the company's shut down, whether you are still a fan or stopped being a fan a few years ago but found out about the shutdown and was like, oh, maybe I'll check it out maybe I'll check out the channels again one day, look at some of the old stuff, watch all of the Rage Quit videos and all that stuff. The other big worry that fans have had since the shutdown was announced was that Warner Brothers, who owned Rooster Teeth and are the reason that this travesty has happened, fans were worried that Warner Brothers were going to do a machinima, basically, and delete all of the YouTube channels. Now, I obviously said earlier in the stream that they want to get as much of the website exclusive content onto the YouTube channel so that fans can watch the stuff for free. So that would suggest, obviously, that they don't expect the YouTube channels to ever get deleted. But Warner Brothers is a huge company. They clearly don't give a shit because they've shut down Rooster Teeth. So all it would take is one exec to just click and decide they want to pull the plug and delete the YouTube channels. Fortunately, by kind of complete and total luck, discovered a website where they've basically archived everything that's ever been created Rooster Teeth content related. It probably isn't every single piece of video content ever, but it's the vast majority. I'm not going to click on it for copyright reasons or anything like that, but if you want to look for it, just go to Google, type in RT archive, and it should come up. So if you ever wanted to just binge Rage Quit or binge Achievement Horse or binge $1 Million Butt or binge, I don't know, just anything. The golf series they did, Genlock, anything. It's on that website. And this is all in case the Rooster Teeth YouTube channels all get taken down. So how long have we been going now? Okay, we've been going for just over an hour, so that's not too bad. We're now going to move on. I need to make sure... First thing I need to do is move the camera. Okay, I'm hoping I'm not too big and I'm not taking up too much space. We'll find out soon enough. But, okay, so now we're going to move on to the tier list section. Now, this was... Oh, actually, yeah, sorry, no, one other thing about the RT archive, actually. It shouldn't be on there, but someone uploaded the Red versus Blue movie. It was in the wiki earlier that I mentioned it. You know, can I actually just quickly find it? It was... here. Red versus Blue Restoration. Now, there's a whole story behind this as well. It was originally going to be the final series. Then the shutdown happened, so it was turned into a movie. But it released on May 7th. I'm not sure that's entirely accurate. I'm pretty sure it released on May 8th, but they've written May 7th for some reason. I watched it last Thursday on the 9th, and I've got to watch it because someone, I think incorrectly, uploaded it to the RT archive, which I think was a mistake. They shouldn't have done that for copyright reasons or piracy reasons. But it is there. I have watched it. I thought it was pretty good. If I, decide to do another one of these live streams where I talk about a specific piece of content, such as the movie, or if anyone in the comments decides, hey, why don't you make a separate video where I give my opinions on the movie, maybe I'll do that. But that's for another stream that might happen. Tier list, right? Okay, so if anyone that's in the still watching, just let me know if the camera, I've moved it into the top corner. Let me know if the camera is still blocking anything when we're doing these tier lists. But yeah, first thing I should say is there was not a lot of choice. There wasn't actually that many options in terms of Rooster Teeth related tier lists. There was a lot of RWBY related ones, and we'll come on to that in a minute. But there was very little just Rooster Teeth in general, or Red versus Blue in general, tier lists. But I did find two, and we're just going to quickly skim through these. So this is Rooster Teeth shows. So this is definitely not every single Rooster Teeth show, but there's a few different varieties on here. So we'll quickly skim through this. I'll offer my opinions on them. And you guys can offer your opinions as well. Also, this will be pretty quick because for some reason they've duplicated. So you can see like Chump, Nomad. Like for some reason these bottom two rows are just copy and paste duplicates of the top two rows. I don't know why that happened, but we're going to need this. We're going to need this because there's a few things in here I haven't watched. Right, 10 Little Roosters. This was the Murder Mystery series. It was a little slow, but I thought it was good. I enjoyed it for what it was. Also, this sounds... I think I should change this to cool, actually, because saying cool but not eye-opening sounds like you didn't find it that good. But then, if you didn't find it that good, surely that's what good is for. But yeah, 10 Little Roosters. This was a good show. It was a little bit long-winded. It was a little bit slow. But if you're into murder mysteries, it was funny. I enjoyed it. Same with Chump. This was the Achievement Hunter / Rooster Teeth based series that was hosted by Jeremy Dooley. It was sort of his baby project. It was probably one of the productions that became better through COVID from hosting it from home. There's a series that exists in the UK, a mainstream television series called Would I Lie to You? And I like that show. So Chump kind of I was interested in that as well. It was a fun show. In fact, I enjoyed it. Probably enjoyed it more than Ten Little Roosters, so I'll put it ahead. I never watched No Matter Nowhere, so I can't judge it. Um, Immersion, I thought was hilarious. I've already said original show, like coming up with these real, like recreating video game based scenarios or video game based. The word's escaping me. Recreating common or famous things in video games to see if they work in real life. Like the Mario Kart driving thing. Can you fall over by driving over a banana skin, for example? On the Spot. Again, I only really watched a handful of On the Spot, so I feel like I can't properly judge it. But from what I did watch, it was okay. I mean, I could maybe put it in here, but it was okay. Never watched this. Don't really know anything about it. This was cool. I wish I watched more hardcore tabletop because I'm big on Monopoly. Never watched Arizona Circle, so I can't judge it. Never watched Camp Camp, but I know it's got a big following. I watched 10 Little Roosters. Didn't watch 11 Little Roosters, although I know that the famous Japanese video game producer guy, Hikari, or whatever his name is. His name escapes me. In fact, sorry, is this 11 Little Roosters? Because isn't that what this is? This looks like it says 11 as well. Tier list is really bad sometimes. In fact, and 11 Little Roosters is here as well. Why is there so many copy and paste repeats? Arizona Circle's here? Okay, I don't know what's going on here, but I'll just bin all these off. Bin this off. I also don't know what this is. Is this supposed to be Achievement Hunter? Because if it is, it's going top of the list. I've already said. Same with RWBY, top of the list. $1 Million Butt. Actually, I probably enjoyed $1 Million Butt more than I enjoyed Immersion. It's probably up there. And Red vs. Blue, iconic. And then X-Ray and Vav, I watched it, but it was probably one of the few things that I thought didn't quite hit the mark. Yeah, I mean, this isn't like I had the same problem when I made my tier list. Sorry, there was a feather. Oh no, it's a little bird. It's a little moth thing or something buzzing around. I had the same problem when I made my tier list for the top 100 jumpers. It just squeezes in the picture so much. Like the No Matter Nowhere, it fits perfectly. You can tell that says RWBY. You can tell $1 Million Butt, it's fit that perfectly. Oh, Death Battle. I never watched Death Battle either. I think everything else on here, but I don't know why 10 Little Roosters and 11 Little Roosters. I don't know why this is on here so many times, but yeah. Okay, so that's my list, in my opinion, of the RT shows. Obviously, Red vs. Blue, iconic, the original. I love it so much that I tried writing my own story for a machinima idea that never came to light, probably never will, unless I become a millionaire, quit my job, and can do video production full time. RWBY, I've already said, I became more invested in RWBY than I did Red vs. Blue. Not just from an anime perspective, but also because I have many factors about RWBY. And assuming that this is Achievement Hunter, I mean, how much have I already praised everything about Achievement Hunter? So, yeah. Okay, this is the Red vs. Blue seasons tier list. So this is all 18 seasons of Red vs. Blue. It's been a long time since I watched some of these seasons, so we're going to try our best. We're also going to... Dumber than Caboose. I'm going to change D to didn't watch it, because that does apply to one of these seasons. If you see this specific section of the live stream, don't judge me for my opinions on the Red vs. Blue seasons tier list and where I rank them, the way you did with my tier list of Halo missions. Okay, so season 1, we'll put it in S tier. It was the beginning. They were maybe still trying to find their feet, but it's still iconic, and it's still got probably the most, if not the most famous scene in Red vs. Blue, then it's the second most famous scene, and that is the very first scene. Hey, yeah? You ever wonder why we're here? Everyone who's heard of Red vs. Blue probably knows that scene. I say if it's not number one, then it's in the top two, because I think the only other scene that marvels it is the season 8 Tex fight, where Tex destroys the entire Red vs. Blues. Season 2, I'll put below season 1, simply because it's been a long time since I watched it. I can't really remember too many specifics about it. I know Doc shows up in season 2. I know Donuts got infected by O'Malley at this point. Oh, no. It's Caboose that gets infected by O'Malley, and then O'Malley transfers into Doc, and then he infects Doc, isn't it? No, Donut never gets infected, does he? No, Donut gets caught up in all of the confusion in season 1 with capturing the flag. That's right. It is one of life's great mysteries, isn't it? Season 3. This is also S tier. In fact, you know what? I'm going to put this above season 1 simply because I absolutely loved the time travel stuff. Specifically, Church going into the past. I think the whole, like, the bomb exploding and the Reds and Blues thinking they went to the future, that seemed a little bit but it was still funny somewhat. And all of the Church stuff when they went to the past, I just thought was hilarious. And then him when he went to the past, and then screwing everything up, I just thought it was so funny. And also, actually, the way season 3 started as well, with them going to new places, because they'd stayed in Blood Gulch the first 2 seasons. Season 3 they really expanded, using different maps in Halo 1, going to new locations, and the Red versus Blue interacting with each other. Like Sarge went with Caboose, I think, to one location. Season 4. Again, I kind of have to throw this in with season 2. I can't really remember a lot of it. I know they end up back at Blood Gulch. I'm actually struggling to remember a lot of season 4. I think wasn't season 4. I think I'm hoping I'm not confusing this with season 5. I think season 4 was the one that had a lot of the alien baby stuff with Tucker, which was kind of weird when you think about it. But yeah, I'm struggling to remember a lot of season 4. Season 5, I'll put this in S tier. The conclusion of the Blood Gulch archive, or the Blood Gulch I was about to say Blood Gulch series. That's not the word I'm looking for. And franchise is also not the word I'm looking for. The end of the Blood Gulch story arc. The last episode of season 5 was the 100th episode. They'd obviously, if you got the DVDs and stuff, they had so many different endings and different scenarios for the ending of season 5. Obviously killing off the freelancer agent, blowing up O'Malley and Tex in the ship. It was just a great conclusion to the Blood Gulch arc, or the Blood Gulch Chronicles. Saga. Yes, saga. That's a good word for it, Wi-Fi. And season 6. Okay, this was the start of the Project Freelancer trilogy. Season 6. Where do I want to put this, actually? Because season 6 starts with not a lot of the Red versus Blues. It starts with Wash, doesn't it? Like, you follow Wash's story, Agent Washington, and then eventually he starts to find the Red versus Blues. The Reds versus Blues. The Reds and the Blues. We'll put it in. We'll put it in A. We'll put it at the top of A. I do remember that season 6 was when you get the big reveal that Church is actually an AI and he's the Alpha, which I thought was one of the great reveals of Red versus Blue. I'm trying to remember. I think season 6 ends where Church seemingly deletes all of the AIs, and so it leaves the meta powerless. I think that's right. Season 7. This is bad. I can't remember any specifics in season 7. I think season 7. I'm really hoping I've got this right. Season 7 is the one when they bust through the wall, or is that season 8? I can't remember. This is really bad. I need to go and rewatch Red versus Blue, even though I watched all of the first 10 seasons about 3 years ago, like when COVID was still a thing. But I'm really bad. I'm really struggling to remember right now. No, I'm gonna have to put season 7. It's still. I mean, all of the first 10 seasons are fantastic in my opinion. You're gonna see, spoiler alert, all 10 seasons in the top 2 tiers. But I'm just really struggling to remember. Like, you're going to have to, in the comments or something, tell me what was the most memorable thing from each of these first 7 seasons. Because I'm struggling to remember. I'm struggling specifically to remember 2, 4, and 7. What was the big things that happened in those seasons? Season 8. This is... is this above season 3? In my opinion, the Tex fight is more iconic than the Ever Wonder Why We're Here moment. So for that alone, it has to go above season 1. Is it above season 3? Is it the best? It would help if I can move this. Is season 8 above season 3? I can actually remember. Oh, well, this is me trying to give you a crash course Wi-Fi and some of the famous things that happened in Red versus Blue. Even though I can't remember anything from seasons 2, 4, or 7. But I've told you stuff about seasons 1, 3, 5, 6, and 8. I think I'm going to put season 8 top of the pile so far. It's got the whole Doc trapped in the wall incident. In fact, you know what? I think them crashing through the wall was in season 8 and not in season 7, because Doc gets stuck in the wall. They have to carry him around in the wall. Church is a giant orb thing and flies around with them. They go to the Project Freelancer base. They wake up Tex. Tex kicks the Reds and Blues' asses in probably the most iconic episode in the show's history. And then the finale, the final 2 episodes of season 8 are great. Fighting in the snow, in that snow level on Halo 3. Tex versus Washington and the Meta is a great fight. Then the Meta seemingly killing Tex. Then the Meta betraying Washington, and then Washington having to fight the Meta. And then the Red versus Blues fly in. I keep saying the Red versus Blues. The Reds and the Blues crash land in the location. And then they fight the Meta, and then they very cleverly take down the Meta. I still think some people might have thought it was goofy. Might have thought it was goofy, but I think the way they killed the Meta by tricking him into grabbing Sarge, and then Sarge attached the Warhog hook onto him, and then they pushed the Warhog off the cliff, so it dragged the Meta off the cliff to his death with his iconic scream as he fell. I say iconic scream. The Meta can't talk. His vocal cords got shot or stabbed or something, so he can only growl. But the iconic growling scream as he falls to his death. Yeah, I think season 8's top of the pile for me. Yeah, Wi-Fi. Go and watch. Go and look up. Go to RT Archive and watch all of Red vs. Blue. But specifically on YouTube, go and look up the Tex fight, the episode from season 8, and then go and look up Red versus Blues versus the Meta, and then you'll see what I'm talking about. Okay, seasons 9 and 10. Oh, you know what? Actually, sorry, I said seasons 6, 7, and 8 was the Project Freelancer trilogy. I don't actually think it is it? Because I think seasons 9 and 10 were called the Project Freelancer arc. I can't remember. Was season 6, 7, and 8? You know what? You've got me intrigued now. We're detouring, boys. We're detouring. Oh, no, sorry, it says it there. The Recollection Trilogy. Okay. Because these 3 seasons all had their own names. I know season 8 was called Red vs. Blue Revelations. Okay, yeah, this was called the Project Freelancer Saga. Okay. Season 9 and 10, Project Freelancer. So these 2 seasons. Oh, and so season 8 ends with Church going into the memory unit that the meta. So I say the meta killed Tex. The meta stabs Tex with this memory unit that they were going to use to capture Church and like trap him inside this unit. So that because obviously he's an AI inside a robot body, they would trap him inside this memory unit, and then they would then he wouldn't be able to go anywhere. But instead, the meta stabs Tex with it, so he traps Tex inside the memory unit. So Church then decides at in the end of season 8, he decides to go into the memory unit as well to try and rescue Tex, and then he gets trapped in there. So seasons 9 and 10, or season 9. Season 9 is pretty slow. It's basically a lot of season 9 it basically covers 2 stories. It covers the Church story of him trapped inside the memory unit, and it's basically a recreation of the original show where they're in Blood Gulch. He's on the blue team. He's fighting against the Reds, and it's very classic, to be honest. Not a lot really happens. But then on the other side, season 9 also then explores the Project Freelancer elements of the story, and it's basically almost like a flashback prequel part of the story. So you see everything that happens with Project Freelancer and these super cool, like super powered special agent Spartan warriors. And the other thing that puts season 8 at the top is I'm pretty sure that's the first season where they started using the live action machinima that I mentioned, which is the whole reason why the Tex episode happens, where she fights the Reds versus Blue. They take all of that and they expand it tenfold in seasons 9 and 10. So seasons 9 and 10, all of the Project Freelancer stuff has got tons of live action Spartan machinima fighting. And again, if you're a purist, some people might say it's not that great. I thought it was fantastic. So I'm going to put season 9. I am going to put it in S, but I'm going to put it below season 1 because the only reason for that is because one thing I didn't like about it is how chopped up the story was. So you'd basically spend an episode, like you'd go into an episode, the first half of it is Church in Blood Gulch, then the other half of the episode is Project Freelancer stuff. Then you go into the next episode. You start off with Church, then Project Freelancer. Next episode, Church. It was very chopped up. Like you were seeing half the story, and then you were seeing the other half of a different story. Then the next episode, you're seeing the other half of story 1, then the other half of story 2. It was very back and forth, and it was very choppy. Yeah. I think that kind of let it down. It kind of made it hard for the story to flow. So I will put it below season 1. However, even though this problem still exists in season 10, where you're seeing... Oh, so at the end of season 9, the Reds and Blues bust Church out of the memory unit and get him back into the real world. So in season 10, you've still got the Project Freelancer story arc going on, all the prequel stuff. But now in the real world, or in what's actually happening in modern, in the moment, whatever, is Church and one of the Project Freelancer agents, Agent Carolina, hunting the director who was the head of Project Freelancer, because Carolina wants to find the director and wants to kill him because the director created Project Freelancer and all of the AIs and all the terrible things that happens to Church and all the other agents and stuff. And it ends with a fantastic finale. The way season 10 wraps up with Carolina finding the director realizing all the pain he's gone through and the reason why he did what he did with Project Freelancer. And then you discover that Agent Carolina is the director's daughter. Was just fantastic. It was, and the last episode wrapped things up perfectly, and it was pretty much the perfect end to a 10-year story that had started from season 1. Obviously, when season 1 happened, they didn't know that the story was going to go where it went. But yeah, it was, in my opinion, season 10 was my favourite season out of all of them, and so it goes top of the list, and it won't get topped. All right, so now we've gone past the peak years, the peak period of Red versus Blue, and now this is where I'm going to get a bit more negative. So after the Project Freelancer story arc and the 10-year story arc of Red versus Blue comes to an end, you've got a difficult decision to make. Do you just completely bin off Red versus Blue? You know, the franchise, the series that is the reason Rooster Teeth came into existence? Or do you find a way to continue the story? Obviously, they decided to continue the story, which then leads to the Chorus trilogy, seasons 11, 12, 13, which all take place on Halo 4. I do not find the Chorus trilogy quite as popular. It's not bad, but it's just not as iconic to me as Project Freelancer, because Project Freelancer was just so fantastic. So I'm going to put season 11 in B. I'm going to put season 12 in C. And the only reason I'm putting season 12 in C is because I watched season 12 once and I've never watched it again. So I said a couple of years ago I binge rewatched Red vs. Blue. That was up to the first 10 seasons. I've seen season 11 quite a few times. I've only ever watched season 12 all the way through once. And season 13, I've only ever watched all the way through once. But I have seen a lot of individual episodes from season 13 multiple times. And just because of how season 13 ends, I will put season 13 in A tier, because Church sacrifices himself. And actually, it becomes one of the most important moments in Red versus Blue history because of what happens with the movie that came out last week. And it's just also an extremely tragic end to Church as a character at the end of season 13. Season 14 has to go into didn't watch, because it's the one season of Red vs. Blue I have not watched. It's all of season 14 are just one-off individual episodes. There's no story, there's no overriding arc. It's all just one-off individual episodes of like bizarre scenarios that happen. And I've just never watched any of them. It's not that I've heard that they're bad, I've just never watched it. Season 15. I'm going to put this in B tier. This is season 15 onwards is where the show really starts to go downhill. But I did enjoy some aspects of season 15. I think as the season went on, it got worse and worse. But I did like what they tried to do, at least in the beginning. Maybe it should go in C, but I will reluctantly put it at the... If B tier was like this, then season 15's right on the line between B and C. Season 16, however, is going in C. It continues the story from season 15 and just turns it into a very weird... it turns into a very weird story arc where they try to convince you that gods exist. Then you find out that they're not really gods, they're just robots, or like, not AIs, because AIs, we've already covered AIs in Red vs. Blue. Yeah, like robots or something, like animatronic robots or something. But it's really obscure. and it's really weird, and it just didn't work. And then they continue that into season 17, which is the time travel series. And I think, when I saw the trailer, as a concept, I thought season 17 could have been really funny, because they were going back to original Red versus Blue, the original series, and all of the original stuff in like the first 5 seasons, and then yeah, all that stuff, whatever. So they really could have done a good job with making season 17 really funny with time travel. They already made it work with season 3. Yeah, it didn't work here. And it also goes in C, because it was even worse than season 16. Season 15, as I say, maybe I'm being very generous by putting season 15 in B tier. Maybe season 15 should be in C tier. But season 16 is even worse than season 15. And season 17 is even worse than season 16. And then season 0 is just a pile of crap. What an absolute waste of time Red vs. Blue 0 was. And that's all I'm going to say on it. If Wi-Fi, if you want to watch Red vs. Blue, by all means, watch the first 13 seasons. Even if you get bored, watch seasons 14, 15, 16 and 17. I pray to you, with all my soul, do not watch Red vs. Blue 0. It is a waste of your time, as it was a waste of mine. Yeah, so because of how much fans didn't really enjoy seasons 15, 16, 17 and 0, yeah, the movie basically retcons everything that happens after season 13. So basically season 13, end of season 13 happens, then the movie happens, and in the movie it shows that everything that happens in 14, 15, 16, 17 and 0 is all simulations. So they basically retconned all those seasons. If the movie was on this list, I would probably put it. I'll probably put it in A. It's under a minute. It's under an hour and a half. It's obviously, because the company was shutting down, they had to rush the whole production of it. It was supposed to be a full-length series, just like everything else in here. But because the company was shutting down, they had to turn it into a movie. But having watched it, I would definitely watch it again. So that's obviously a good thing. And it did a good enough job of wrapping up the whole story of Red versus Blue without really doing much to sort of like rock the boat. It kept things very simple, very basic, didn't really take too many risks. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I'd watch it again, and it certainly wasn't bad. I didn't think it was bad at all. There was maybe a couple of things in it that I didn't agree with, but yeah, I certainly thought it was a good way to wrap up the story. Okay, so we're now. Oh God, okay, we're actually. All right, we might need to. I don't want this to be going on too long. We're only 20 minutes away from having been going for 2 hours. Okay, so now we're going to finish with RWBY. Now, obviously, there's tons of RWBY we could do here. There's lots of different RWBY tier lists. And RWBY is probably the thing I'm most qualified to talk about. But I've already got one I'm going to look at, and it's RWBY fight scenes. Wi-Fi, let me know in the chat if your knowledge of RWBY is better than it is of Red versus Blue. But yeah, so this is all the fight scenes from RWBY for the first 8 seasons. However, there is a lot of them, so I'm not going to cover all of them. So partly because I can't remember all of them. But just in case I do need to look up a fight scene that I think is important and I just can't remember it, I do have this lovely playlist which covers the first 8 seasons in terms of the fight scenes. And some of these some of these I actually will put on the screen because I think just because they're iconic, and I think they're worthy of being looked at. RWBY fights. A lot of people have a lot of sweeping opinions. Do you have sweeping opinions, Wi-Fi? Are you a RWBY fan? Let me know. So yeah, I've changed I think this was E tier or F tier or something. I've changed this to don't recognize or can't remember. So just for the sake of time, really. And also, some of these images are so small that I might not be able to tell what the fight scene is, just because of how small they are. Oh, you love the show? Okay, fine. Well, we'll do our best. Like I say, I'm not going to cover every single one of these because there's like 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9 on a row, and there's 13 rows. So that's like there's like 115 or 116 different fights here. It'll take forever for me to cover all these, so we are going to speed run. I'm mainly going to cover the most important ones to me. Oh, some of these split up fights. Okay, well that might make this even easier then. Okay, so in fact, you know what? In fact, there's too many tiers here. So can we bin some of these off? Like, can I delete some of these? Yeah. Okay, we'll delete that. We'll delete that. I mean, S tier is basically God tier, isn't it? So we'll delete S. Yeah, okay, that'll do. Alright. Oops, sorry. Nope. Okay, so season 7. I know this is from season 7. This is in the mines. Can't really remember a lot about this fight, so we'll just put it here. I remember the fight because I recognize the if I don't recognize the picture, it's going to go in this tier. If I do recognize the picture, like I do with this one, but I don't think it's that important of a fight. I'm just going to skim it and put it in like C, B, D. Is this all? I don't recognize this. I think isn't this also from the same mine sequence? In which case, I'm also going to put it in C. Again, if I'm wrong, let me know, Wi-Fi, and please correct me. This looks like, if I'm not mistaking this looks like the Adam chopping off Yang's arm. Is that right? Is that what this picture is? It looks like it. That looks like the scene, the moment from season 3 where Adam chops off Yang's arm. That's not even a fight. Like, all that is Yang charging at Adam, and Adam just takes her arm off. Yeah, okay, I'm putting this in D because this isn't even a fight. This is just a one attempt at punching, and Adam just literally slices her arm off, and that's the end of the fight. That's not even a fight. I don't recognize this. Adam versus somebody. I can't remember. I'm not sure who this is, so that's going in here. Season 8, Atlas or the Aesops versus the Grimm. This isn't even a proper fight, so no, D. This is from, I think, season 7. Nah, don't remember it. Is this from the Blake trailer? Oh, this is the Adam short. Oh, this was like season between. Was this like pre-season 5 or pre-season 6? I still can't remember anything about this fight, so I'm keeping it in here. If this is from the Blake trailer, because the 4 trailers are fantastic, I will put it in beta. This is Blake versus Adam in season 5. Again, this isn't really much of a fight. Most of it is just them talking to each other. So again, I'm going to put it in D tier. Blake versus Blake's friend. I've forgotten her name. The chameleon woman. Elia or something was her name. Again, this isn't really a fight. Like, this is them just chasing Elia. And then Elia reveals herself. And then she injures Sun. So again, this isn't really a fight, so that's going in D tier. Blake versus the Dragon Monster in Season 4. This was a pretty cool fight. I enjoyed this fight. So we'll also put this in B tier. Ilya, sorry, not Elia. Blake... this isn't even a fight! This is just a cutscene. This is just a scene from Season 7 where they talk to Robin. No, what the hell is this? This ain't even a fight. You know what? D tier. Crap or not a fight. That's what D tier is. Like, this isn't a fight. This is barely a fight. This isn't really a fight. And this is just them talking. Okay, this was a good fight. Sun and Blake versus Torchwick. That was a good fight. At the end of Season 1. I'm guessing this is a Season 7 fight, but I don't recognise it, so I'm putting that in there. What is that? Is that Blake versus Roman? Is this from Season 2? I can't really remember a lot about that fight. That's from the Season 2 finale, isn't it? You know what? I'll let you describe that one if you can remember it. I can't really remember a lot about this fight. I recognise the picture from Season 2. And I know Blake versus Torchwick was built up as this big thing that was going to be important. But then Torchwick obviously gets binned off. But we'll come back to that. Okay, Blake and Yang versus Adam. Now, this is... I'm guessing you're going to tell me this is probably the first controversial fight. Feel like some people like this fight and others aren't a big fan of this fight. I'm of the opinion this fight is only okay. I'll put it in B tier. Some people might say it deserves to be in A tier or A plus tier. I wasn't a big fan of this fight, so I'm going to put it in B tier. Okay, so you're saying this is on the... yeah, I recognise it's on the train. I just don't really remember it. You're saying she kicks ass. Okay, I'll take your... I'll trust you on it, and I'll put it in B tier. If it's from the first 3 seasons, chances are it's a good fight. Okay, the Autumn Maiden versus Cinder, Emerald, and Mercury. You know, this is the first fight I'd actually want to look up and watch. I'm going to have this on mute. Domino's does not advertise this live stream. Please ignore this this advert. Oh, is there no timestamps? Oh, okay. This is going to make it difficult. Okay, here we go. I haven't watched this fight in a long time. So, oh, her name was Amber. That's right. I think I only ever watched this fight. Also, in case anyone tries to take this down, this is all purely for educational reasons. Yeah, I think I've only ever watched this fight once, and it was when I watched Season 3. Even though I know it was a great... in my opinion, I think it's an awesome fight. I just have never watched it more than once. It also seems pretty short because she's already using her maiden powers, and I'm pretty sure this is when Cinder's about to show up. Oh no, they're still fighting. Okay. Of course, this is important because this is the person that Cinder gets her superpowers from. So everything that's like important about Cinder's power starts from comes from this person. I do recall she's going to lose this fight, and if memory serves me correctly, oh, that's right. Emerald uses her ability to mask them. Well, I mean, she is a maiden, don't get me wrong, and Cinder has not achieved the powers that she does eventually end up achieving. So it's maybe understandable that 3 semi-competent fighters are needed to take on one person with maiden powers. I mean, look, she's still largely kicking their asses. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, she's about to stab. She's about to stab Amber in a minute, isn't she? Oh, there's no subtitles either. Yep, there we go. Yeah, this is longer than I remember. When she started using her powers, I just assumed... we'll come back to this fight. Okay, yeah, that was... I'm still going to put it in A tier. I was originally going to put it in A tier before watching it. I still think that fight holds up. It's probably at the bottom of A tier, but I'll put it in A tier. This is barely a fight, so... Again, this is going in D tier. Okay, no, now this one I'm putting on. This, I absolutely love this fight. No, 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 we're not sponsored by any of these ads. Thank you. Cinder versus Neo. I absolutely love this fight. The only thing I don't like about this fight is I wish it was longer. This is, oh, yeah, the Neo reveal to begin with was already fantastic. I think some people had already figured out that Neo was coming back before this episode came out. But then this fight happens, and I just absolutely I'm watching this fight now, and I really love it. I think the thing about it is that of how close combat it is. It's got almost like a Star Warsy feel to it. The way they're fighting in close combat like this, and also the fact that Neo's theme, One Thing, plays in the background during this fight. And Neo, you know, I mean, we already know she's pretty darn good as a fighter, but she certainly holds her own in this fight, despite the fact that Cinder has obviously got maiden powers at this point. That's enough, ladies. I love dinner and a show, but it's time to take it outside. Okay, yeah, we get the idea. This is going in A+, because even though it's not long enough, and it deserves it, I wish it was a longer fight. I'm not going to show the whole outside section, but yeah, that is the first hit that anyone gets on Neo, isn't it? Yeah, I absolutely love that fight. This is Cinder versus her friend from season 8. Again, I think I've only watched this fight maybe twice. I'm going to put it in C because I don't remember it being a bad fight. I just don't think it was very long, and I don't think it was very memorable. It's more just to show off Cinder's backstory, isn't it? I am remembering this right. This is the season 8 fight, isn't it? Okay, this is the first proper fight between RWBY and Cinder. But again, it's barely a fight, so I'm sorry, it has to go in D tier. It's barely, it like lasts like 20 seconds, that fight. If that, it's maybe even less than that. Okay, is this just the entire season 8 finale fight with Cinder? Because if it is, we'll probably put it, I don't know. What's your opinion? A or B? Wi-Fi. I can't remember. I'm not sure. The season 8 finale fight, is that a good fight? We'll come back to that one. I don't even recognise what this picture is, so don't know. This is from one of the season 3 fights, but there's so many fights in season 3, I can't remember, so no. What the hell is that? Emerald versus Ruby? I mean, again, there were so many fights in that one specific scene in season 5. that I can't even remember. Okay, you're saying B. Okay, I'll go with that. But we'll put it at the top of B because there's a lot of different fights within that fight. Like there's Cinder versus Ruby and Weiss. There's Cinder versus Blake. There's Cinder versus Neo. Cinder versus Neo. Cinder versus Penny. There's Cinder versus Penny, Jean, and Weiss. There's so many fights in that. There's Neo versus Blake, Ruby, and Weiss. So. Oh, okay, yeah. Unfortunately, there were so many fights in season 3 that like lasted for like 2 minutes during the Amity tournament. I honestly can't remember all of them. So I'm going to put this in C because I honestly can't. The only thing I remember between Emerald versus Ruby is Ruby talking to Emerald saying, "Why are you helping?" and Emerald just saying, "I don't care about Salem, but I owe Cinder everything." So I'm going to put it in C. Yeah, somehow Cinder wins the whole fight. Yeah, it's questionable. Again, is this really a fight? It's a training session, isn't it? Unless this is the end of season 7 when the Atlas soldiers are chasing after them. But again, this is barely even a fight, so this goes in D. Food fight, this is going in A+. I could maybe put it on, but we are running low for the sake of time. This is A+. The food fight is iconic. Blake's dad against presumably the two Adam lovers. I can't remember their names. The two brothers. This was an okay fight. We'll put this at the bottom of B. Hazel versus. I mean, Hazel fights pretty much everyone during. Hazel fights almost everybody during this. Is this just specifically Hazel versus what's her face? Nora. Again, I think I'll put this in B. But we'll put it about here. In fact, you know what? We'll put it below Adam. We'll put it about here. Oh, shit, I keep pressing the wrong. I keep clicking in the wrong spot. Hazel versus Cinder. I could put this fight on actually because I quite like it, but again, for the sake of time, I think we better skip. Hazel versus Cinder. Again, I really like this fight. I just wish it was longer. I think we're going to put this. I'm going to put this at the top of B. This isn't. I mean, this even qualify as a fight? The Grim just takes Oscar, and that's about it, isn't it? I'm not qualifying this as a fight. Likewise, is this really a fight? No. Ironwood shooting a Grim. This looks like seasons 2 or 3. Again, is this a fight? I don't think so. Okay, I'm putting this on. I am putting this one on. Ironwood versus Watts in Gravity. Absolute banger. This might be my favourite fight. So I'm putting it on. Where are we going? Here we go. This is such a good fight. Especially again, this is another. It's similar to the Neo versus. Is this got subtitles? No, it doesn't. It's similar to the Neo versus Cinder fight in that it's very unique. Like Cinder versus Neo is very close quarters, and neither of them have. Well, I suppose Neo technically has a weapon because she has her umbrella, but it's very close quarters. It's not very like spacious. Whereas this fight is spacious. But there's no weapons. There's guns. And of course, the kick-ass song that's about to kick in now. Hero, a.k.a. Ironwood's theme. I would play the audio, but I don't want to get copyright taken down. That's why I wish there was subtitles on this video. The whole gravity element, I think, was really well done in this fight. They probably had an insanely difficult job creating this, with getting all the gravity movements and getting them all correct and spot on. Hero is one of my favourite songs. If I ever did a video ranking my favourite songs from RWBY, like say if I did like a top 10 or maybe a top 15, because I tell a lie. I like the RWBY. Oh, I love this bit actually. I love Ironwood here. Running, and it's just yeah, like you're rooting for Ironwood so much, and it's so tragic because of what happens later in this same episode when he basically Luke goes insane. Yeah, obviously, yeah. With this being the Amity Arena from season 3, here comes the Matrix reference coming up. Take my hand. I love this as well. Actually, Ironwood just pulling him to the ground, and then, okay, we'll stop it here in a second. Trust me to be strong. I'll be your hero. Just hold on. Yeah, I'm putting this. If we could go up, please. Okay, we can't go up. I love the Neo fight, but I'm putting this in S tier. Like, I could make a case, like, just on how much I love this fight, I could put it in S tier, but it's too short. This is the first God tier. I'm guessing this is from season 1. Again, isn't this just a training fight? Is this really much of a fight? I'm gonna put it in C. This is just like the bully kicking Jean's ass, isn't it? What the hell is that? Jean, is that Jean versus Cinder? Again, that barely qualifies as a fight, doesn't it? I don't think this qualifies as a fight. What is that? Oh, Jean versus the Grimm in season 1. We'll put that in. Actually, sorry, how many? We haven't got a lot of A's, have we? You know, maybe we can move. I'm going to move some of these up. Actually, we're going to put Hazel into A because I feel like there's too many B's and not enough A's. Nora versus somebody in the season 3 Amity tournament. But I can't tell what. I can't tell what that is. I can't remember that fight. So I have to again put it in don't recognize it. Is this, I can't tell based off this picture. Is this from season 1 or from season 4? Because if it's from season 1, in fact no, it must be. It can't be season 4 because Pyrrha's in that picture. This is the fight in the forest, isn't it? In which case this is A tier. Everything from the forests, the episodes in the forest, was all like it was the first time you properly got to see all of the action, like and how good the show could be in terms of its action scenes. I don't recognize it based off this picture. I don't know if this is season 7 or season 8, so don't recognize it. Neo versus Maria. Again, this is an okay fight. It's just very short, and it's actually very funny because Maria smacks Neo with the mech suit, doesn't she? So we'll put this in B tier. Oh, shit, sorry. Come on, let me move. The Grim Reaper versus the Grim Dragon flying thing, whatever it was. Again, this was a good fight to my memory, so we'll put it in B. And you know what, I'll just, because this fight happens immediately afterwards, we'll also put it in B. I remember liking this character's semblance with the clock thing. And of course, she is the character that blinds Maria. So, what the hell is this? This is that's Emerald versus Mercury against the Deserter at the start of season 2. This isn't even a fight. This is them basically going to interrogate him, and then he plans to fight them, and then they just kick his ass and kill him. It's not even a fight. Mercury versus Yang. Again, this does technically qualify as a fight, but you barely see any of the fight. And doesn't Emerald interfere in this fight by using her semblance to create like 100 Mercuries? C tier. Mercury versus Emerald in season 6. This barely qualifies as a fight. Neo versus Team Juniper plus Oscar. Again, this is barely a fight as well. This is a fight, but there's barely any actual fighting in this. So again, I got to put this in C. Haven was a mess, wasn't it? Okay, Neo versus RWBY / Weiss / Blake. I will put this next to the Cinder fight from season 8 because, in fact, I'll put it above it because this was actually more entertaining than Cinder's battles, and also Neo just completely kicks ass. Like Weiss gets that smack on Neo when she flies through the portal, but apart from that, like Neo completely kicks Ruby's butt during this fight. Is this season 4 or is this season 1? I'm guessing this is season 1, so we're gonna put this in B, I think. Yeah, we'll put it in B. Professor, what is that? I don't even recognize that. No, I don't even recognize that. So I remember him fighting in season 2, but I don't remember any specifics about it. And what is this? Is this from... Oh, that's Ozma. That's Ozma versus Salem before in the season 6 flashback, isn't it? In the season 6 lore episode. Again, that's barely a fight as well. No, I'm sorry. This might be the best episode in RWBY history, but this is barely a fight. Although, actually, I don't know. Actually, I'll take your opinion on this, because, I mean, this is more of a fight. This one isn't even a fight. They fire their magic at each other, and then it's just a flash of white, and then the next thing you see is the whole house has exploded, and Ozma's been beaten by Salem. Whereas I think this does qualify as a fight because it lasts for about 30 seconds, but it's just so short. I wish it was longer, this fight. Ozpin versus Cinder. This might be controversial, but I will put this in B. Even though it's only a 30-second fight, I thought it was great for what it was. I mean, the opening, where it's just completely black, and then all you see is the flashes of light from their swords, or from their weapons, I thought was great. And with the music as well. Don't remember this fight. It's season 3. Can't remember it. Sorry. What is that? Oh, Cinder versus Penny and Winter. C tier. Penny, what is that? Penny versus the Aesops in season 8? I can barely remember this fight, so we'll put it in C as well. Penny versus Cinder in the Amity fight. The Amity fight in season 8. I'm not sure. This is okay. This fight's okay, but is it good enough to be in B tier? I'm not sure. How are we doing, by the way? How many more of these have we got? No, we've still got quite a few, but we're probably about halfway. You say it's okay, so I'll take your word for it. We'll put it in beta. It was okay. All right. I think we've got to whip. I think we've got to whip out. We've got to whip out the video again. Penny versus Pyrrha, PvP. One of the most tragic episodes in the entire show. Oh, in fact, you know what? It's straight after this fight, isn't it? Yeah, this is definitely going. In fact, okay, but whilst we're watching this, which do you think is better, this fight or Pyrrha versus Cinder in the season 3 finale? Oh, they're showing both fights. That's interesting. In fact, you know, we don't even care about this fight, do we? We'll get to RWBY versus Mercury later. Yeah, I mean, is this the most iconic episode? Like, the lore episode is probably the best episode in RWBY. But is this probably the most iconic episode? Because of what's about to happen? Or what does happen to Penny? Or was it the most iconic episode in RWBY until they brought Penny back? Alright, yeah, that's the end of that fight. If you can call it a fight. This fight isn't as long as I remember it. It's still fantastic, but... Yep, and she's about to come flying back in. Bang! And then this. Here we go. I mean... Come on. I understand why they bring Penny back, because, like, the way she dies here just really doesn't fully conclude her story. But it is a hell of a, like, rip with the fact that... it is a hell of a rip that they kill off Penny in this most absurdly brutal way and then almost make it completely unimportant by bringing her back to life. Okay, you see, yeah, I don't know. This is a tough one because I probably also think that the Penny fight is better, but the Cinder fight versus Pyrrha is more important. I think either way, we're going to put them both in S tier. Yeah, god damn it. I wish I could... This is so annoying. They're still both going in S tier. For now, we will say that this one is higher than this one. What is that? Pyrrha versus... Who is that? Pyrrha versus... I can't even tell. Oh, is that Pyrrha versus the bully? I forget the guy's name. Callan or something, isn't it? Can't really remember that fight. No, can't really remember it. Pyrrha versus Mercury? I don't even remember Pyrrha versus Mercury fighting each other. So... Again, if you know something I don't and it's actually a really good fight, let me know. Okay. Crow versus Tyrion. I'm bringing this fight up. How are we doing, incidentally? Time-wise. We've been going for 2¼ hours. Oh my god. Come on, man. These damn ads. You took the words right out of... I think this is a great fight as well. I know, obviously, season 4 season 4 and 5, the fight sequences really do go downhill. But I do think that this fight is an exception to the rule. I think Crow versus Tyrion is a fantastic fight. Everything is a gun, incidentally. That's the first time I've actually said that at any point. I said Crow versus Tyrion, but yeah, there is this brief moment where Ren and Nora get involved, and then obviously RWBY gets involved at the end. You know, we'll very briefly skim over this bit because not a lot happens. For me, this is where the fight becomes iconic. Because you're thinking, oh my god, even Crow can't lay a glove on this guy. Like, how friggin' OP is this Tyrion guy? And then he's doing this, and then this happens. Bang! I've watched the reaction, like a reaction video to this with like all the different people, and oh my god, I love just how much they just lose their shit laughing at him just punching Tyrion. This guy's been untouchable throughout the whole fight so far, and then he just lays a fist on him. Oh yeah, this is pretty cool actually. There's one specific move about to happen here, where he jumps up, shoots. I really like that actually. And then Crow cleverly using his semblance here, which obviously you don't know anything about this until the next episode when he tells you what his semblance is, but. And then, of course, the finale to this fight with Bad Luck Charm, aka Crow's theme, playing in the background. This is pretty cool as well. Like a boss! Only in anime. If only you could be this cool in an actual fight. There wasn't enough RWBY and Crow fighting together, actually, in the show. This is kind of like one of the few times they actually do fight together. If the only time. RWBY, what did I say? Get back! And then, the way the fight ends. I think perfectly in tune to the song, actually. I think what happens here, and then... Save yourself, I'm your bad luck charm. I'm not going to show the... I'm not going to show the stab. I don't want to see it again. Okay, yeah, this is going in S tier. And you know what? I enjoy this fight so much. I'm putting it above Pyrrha, the two Pyrrha fights. Crow versus Tyrion, the rematch, plus against what's his name, Clover. Bloody moth thing, bugger off. Go away. Oh, I got it. I actually got it. All right. I think this is a good fight, actually. I think I'm going to put this B or A. That is the question. Okay, this might be controversial, but I'm going to put this in A. I think that was a good fight. And I thought it was kind of cool actually seeing Tyrion and Crow teaming, even if it was for completely the wrong reasons, and Crow should absolutely not have done this. Him teaming up with Tyrion was kind of cool. Whereas this fight is just crap. That's crap. Raven versus Crow, this is barely a fight. That's crap. This is a great fight. This is going in A+. Crow versus Winter is a great fight. In fact, you know what? It goes above. Cinder versus Neo. Okay, this is another controversial fight. Cinder versus Raven. Some people love this fight, some people hate this fight. I like this fight. I actually think this is a good fight. Partly because it's all swords. It's all sword action. I'm going to put this in A. This might be controversial, but I'm going to put it in A. I think it's a good fight. I'm also going to put it above Crow versus Clover. Oh yeah, and it's a maiden versus maiden fight. It's the only. Am I correct in thinking it's the only time we've had two maidens? Oh no, I suppose technically Penny versus Cinder is a maiden versus maiden fight. Is this from the season 1 trailer? Is this RWBY versus the Grimm in the red trailer? If it is, it's going in A tier. Or wherever I put the Blake one. Oh, I put the Blake one. I only put the Blake one in B, actually. I forgot about that. No, this is going in A. Even though it's only a trailer fight, it was the first thing we ever saw, I think, of RWBY content. I almost said Neo. Ren versus Hazel. This barely qualifies as a fight. Like, you see them stand. You see Ren and Nora getting ready to fight Hazel, but then you don't actually see anything from the fight, do you? The only thing you see from the fight was the same shots they use in the season 5 intro. This doesn't even qualify. I don't think this even qualifies as a fight. I don't recognize this. I'm guessing this is from season 1. Looking at the limited graphics animation. Okay, so technically, because I don't remember this, it should go in here. But this is the forest fight, and everything from the forest fight was fantastic. Although, did I put a forest fight in here earlier? No, I didn't. Okay. Where did I put the other? Oh, I put the forest fight here. So we'll keep it all together. Whereas this fight, this was from season 4. This was the first episode of season 4, wasn't it? I don't remember this fight being that great. I think it's only a C. Likewise, the season 4 finale fight against the Nevermore, was it called? I just didn't enjoy this fight at all. I thought it was just slow and eh. No, I didn't really enjoy this fight. I'm going to also put this in C. This isn't even a fight. This is them like threatening to start a fight and then the ship crash lands. This is not a fight. This is a fight, but the problem is it's too short. Crow and Clover, Tyrion versus Crow and Clover and Robin. This was a good fight. I think it deserves being higher than C, so we'll put it in B. What is that? Oh, it's the mech fight. The mech fight from season 6. Okay, this is another one that's extremely controversial. People either love this fight or hate this fight. Oh, you're saying it was in the best way. Okay. Yeah, it was good, but it was after considering the fight we had just before it with Ironwood versus Watts. Yeah, I preferred. Yeah, it was a step down, but B is still fine. I'm also going to put this in B. I can see why people. I'm not the biggest fan of the mech fight, but I understand why people like this fight. I'll put it in B. Maybe it should be in C, but I'll put it in B. This is also the forest fight, isn't it, from season 1? So we're keeping all of the forest stuff together. So this also goes in A. Ruby and Yang versus Mercury and Emerald. This isn't even a fight, so nope. I don't recognize this. What is that? I don't recognize this, so we're going to put it in here. Is this the season 6 finale? Is this the giant Grim that she uses her silver eyes on to try and freeze? Again, is this a fight? Because doesn't she just like fly up to the thing and then you try and use her silver eyes? Then she can't do it, so she cheats and uses Jin to freeze time. Yeah, this doesn't really qualify as a fight. Likewise, Ruby versus Mercury is barely a fight. So, okay, episode 1. Even though it's basic, this is going in A tier because it's the first episode. It's the first time you properly see Ruby fight outside of the trailer. It's going in A tier. And Ruby versus Torchwick and Neo in season 3, which obviously culminates in Torchwick's death, is also, I love this fight. In fact, I love it so much I'm putting it in God tier. It might be controversial. Maybe it should be just an A plus fight. But I'm no, you know what, I will put it in A plus. Again, isn't this is like at the very end of the Haven fight. Like, this isn't really a fight. He just screams. And then Emerald says, "It's not over. Neo will come back. She'll come back and beat you all." And then Yang comes up the elevator and you realise Cinder's failed. And then they all run away. This isn't even a fight. This is just Hazel screaming. This is a fantastic fight. The mech fight with Torchwick inside the mech against Team RWBY. Plus, also very briefly, Sun and Mercury are involved in this fight. This was probably the iconic. This is probably my favourite fight from season 2. I'm gonna put this in A plus. Oh yeah, and it introduces Neo at the very end. Yeah. Again, I don't recognise this fight, so unless this is Yang versus Mercury, I don't recognise that. So. Team RWBY versus the Aesops. I'm not sure. I'm really not sure about this one. I don't think this was that good. I think it's okay, but I feel like I don't remember this. I remember the fight. I just don't remember it being that good. I'm going to put this in C, but it's at the top of C, in my opinion. It looks like Wi-Fi's backed out, so we're on our own now. So let's speed up. Don't recognise this, so we're going to move on. This is the finale to the forest fight in season 1. So continuing the theme, it's going in A tier. In fact, it's going at the top of A tier. Yang and Jean and Ren versus Cinder. This is very brief. It's not. This isn't bad. It's just too short. So it still qualifies as a fight, but it's just too small. So it's a C. What is this? I don't recognise this. I'm going to try and speed up because we're running out of time and I'd like to get finished by 11. I don't recognise this fight. I also don't recognise this, so I'm putting it in there. What is that? I actually can't tell what that fight is. I can't tell what that is, so unless you know. Okay, this is them against the Nevermore in Season 3 after the Penny versus Pyrrha fight. This is okay, but it's just really... there's not really a lot to it, so we'll put it in beta. Oh, it's the Adam short, is it? Well, I don't even remember, but the problem with it is I don't remember the Adam... I don't remember this either, so... we'll just stick it together. We'll stick them next to each other and say I don't remember. The Season 6 opening fight. This was a good fight, actually. I quite liked this. This was an okay fight, so I'll also put this in beta. Train was a good fight. Okay, the first half, the first part of Tyrion's fight, where he's only fighting Team... Ranger? Was it? It was called Ranger, wasn't it? Team Ranger. I actually don't like this fight, but not for the choreography. I don't like this fight for the animation. There's a really bad shot. In fact, you know what? It's so bad. We're still in Season 4, so I can bring it up. It's so bad. Hold on. I'm going to highlight it to you. Oh, bloody ads. Oh, hang on, no, we've already gone past it. Oh, did they cut it out? Is it? Are we only seeing the fight part of the fight? He jumps into the tower. Oh, they cut it out. Okay. Well, okay, so basically when he's in the tower, when it cuts to the shot of him in the tower, he then drops out of the tower, but it looks like it's in fucking 2D. It's terrible. It's terrible animation. And it's so bad it makes me dislike the whole fight. I'm going to put it in C. We'll put it at the top of C, but I just hate it for this one shot in the animation. This is from Season 3, I think. Again, if this is one of the Amity fights, don't remember it. I remember this fight because they use I Will Fall, and it's fantastic. So this, Coco, it is Coco, isn't it? Is that her name? Is it Coco? I'm going to put her in A. Weiss creating a knight, and I don't... Is that from Season 5? Is this when Weiss summons the knight to fight off the bees or something? We're getting into the Weiss fights now by the looks of this. Oh, Velvet, sorry. Okay. Oh, this is from the Season 2 finale. Okay. So it's Velvet, right. Sorry, this is Coco. I got the characters' names mixed up. Yeah, this fight was fantastic. And then Weiss gets involved, actually, in the fight as well. I don't recognise this, and I don't even think... I don't recognise this. I think this is the fight from Season 5, but I'm not certain, so I can't say. Weiss and Yang versus the Atlas characters. Don't remember it. Don't remember this. I know this is from Season 1, but don't remember anything about it. Weiss versus Vernal. Again, I don't remember this being a very good fight. So I could put this in D, but we'll put it in C. Okay, you reckon you recognise it? Okay, I'm putting too many in. Don't remember, so we'll put Weiss and the Wasps in C as well. But I don't really remember it being much of a fight. I also don't recognise. I mean, what even is? What even are all of these? I don't even remember any of these. Don't recognise this. I'm guessing this is from the season 5 short, or like the season 5 Weiss trailer, which has winter in it. No, this is the white trailer, isn't it? So we'll put this with the others. Where did we put the other trailers? Okay, we'll put this in B. No, I'm not gonna get up footage for a fight that I don't recognise. Winter, and well, this is Winter. This is everybody against Ironwood, isn't it? And they all kick Ironwood's butt. Yeah, I did think this was the season 5 short, but yeah. Again, this isn't really. I mean, it is a fight, but it's just so one-sided. They just completely kick Ironwood's ass. I'm going to put this in C. In fact, you know what? No, I'm going to be controversial. This isn't even. This is a fight, but it's barely a fight. Same as this. Winter versus Ironwood in the season 8 finale. This is a fight, but we barely see any of this fight. So again, Cinder versus Winter, Maiden versus Maiden. There's not a lot to this fight either. It's very short. I'm going to put this in C. Yang versus... I'm guessing, based on that picture, this is from Season 5? I can't remember this fight, though, so bye-bye. Okay, Yang versus Mercury. This is an Amity fight we can actually rank. This was a good fight. I'm going to put this... Not in D, don't worry, it's not staying in D. I think I'm going to put this in B. Yang versus Neo is also a great fight. In fact, you know what? I will watch Yang versus Neo. We'll get that up. It's got to be near the end, isn't it? Is that it? Oh, they didn't even show. They didn't even show the actual image from the shot. Okay, well, you know what? That was actually shorter than I remember. So we'll still put it in B, but yeah. This is a training fight. This isn't really a proper fight. Yang, this is in Season 1, and we're keeping all of Season 1 together, so... Oh, am I being too harsh on Yang and Weiss, or are you just saying Yang and Weiss are sucking ass in these fights? What is that? Yang versus another Grimm. Is this from... I'm looking at the picture and I can't tell if she's got a metal arm or not, so I'm not sure if that's from Season 4 or if that's from... I mean, the graphics look pretty good, so it looks like it's Season 4. We're almost at the end anyway, so... I'm not sure about that one. I'm also not sure what this one is either. This is, again, this is just training. RWBY versus Oscar. This is just a training. This isn't a fight. I don't remember this being a very good fight. Blake versus Ilya in Season 5 in the burning house. In her burning home. I don't remember this being a very good fight, so C. Oh, sorry. This is Yellow Trailer. How did I forget that? How did I forget about Yellow Trailer? I'd completely forgotten that we hadn't done Yellow Trailer. I actually like the Yellow Trailer more than I like the white and black trailer, so I'm going to stick this with the red trailer, wherever the red trailer is. Where is the red trailer? Ah, here it is. We'll stick it here. I think the red trailer and the yellow trailer are the two best ones, and then I mean they're all good, but oh, this is a short, is it? I'll be honest, you had to tell me that, so I have to put it in here because I can't remember. Oscar versus Professor Coward. I've forgotten his name. Leo Lionheart, Professor Lionheart. Again, this is barely a fight. We'll put it in C, but it's barely a fight. And last but not least, this is just them chasing after the Grim that steals Oscar. Again, is this really a fight? Because they never actually... They don't get him back. No. Okay. So, is there anything... Is there any... Let's just take a quick skim through all of this and see, is there any that that we've completely misplaced that need to be moved. Maybe not focusing on this one because I just can't remember. These are in here for a reason because I just can't remember anything about them. But is there any in D or above that should be someplace else? Yeah, this just cover only volumes 1 to 8. But how many fights actually are there in season 9? There's not a lot of fights, is there? Really? Obviously, there's the fight at the end. There's the fight. There's all the different fights with Neo. There's all the different fights with the Jabberwocker. There's all the different fights. There's the finale fight. Yeah. Is there? Okay, I'm just taking a quick look. Not a fight. Not a fight. Crap. Barely a fight. Don't remember anything about this. Barely a fight. Barely a fight. Not a fight. Barely a fight. Don't barely see anything. Barely see anything. Not barely a fight. Barely. Wish this was a fight. Crap. Not a fight. Crap. Not really a fight. No. That's training. Too short. Lasts about 20 to 30 seconds and is just completely one-sided. Not a fight. Barely a fight. Yeah, the chessboard is probably the other one. All of these are fights, but I'm pretty sure we're agreed that they're all crap or just weren't good enough. Not good enough to be fights. Like maybe a couple of these could be in B tier, but they're either too short or poorly put together. Like I like this fight. I like Yang and Jean and Ren fighting Salem, but it's just too short. It's too short of a fight. Is there any... And then, okay, basically we're at the top now. Is there anything that should be basically moved up one tier higher? I know we've been pretty generous because we've put all of the forest fight. We've put all of the forest fights in A tier. And maybe there's a case that they probably shouldn't all be in A tier, but... And at the minute, I've got Ironwood versus Watts as the number one fight. Is there any other fight that tops it? Is there a fight that should be... Is there another fight that's in God tier that should be above it? Or is there a fight that's in A+ that we should move into S tier? I'm not sure. Okay, we're coming up to 3 hours. Where haven't we been? Is there anything... Oh, so ironic, we haven't even looked at Season 5. Or Season 8, for that matter. Was there a fight in Season 8 that I mean, actually, yeah. Okay, this sums it up, actually. Volume 9. So you look at all of the other... Like, the only season that's got less fights in it in terms of video length is Volume 1. But 22 minutes, almost 44 minutes, 26 and a bit minutes, 35 and a half, 35 basically. 34 and a half, 42 minutes, and then Volume 9 has less than 17 minutes worth of fights. I mean, I know obviously it's only 10 episodes, but... Okay, if you've got no other opinions then I think we're agreed. So, in my opinion, the Ironwood versus Watts fight is the best fight in RWBY. And it doesn't even involve a single sword. It's just two guys with guns and a lot of gravity and technology. Yeah, look, I know everyone likes to shit on the fact that after Volume 3 it all goes to shit. Look, there's many things I love about RWBY, not just the fights. I think the music is fantastic. Sorry, I never finished that point I made. So, I could do like a top 15. I wouldn't be able to do a top 10 RWBY songs for two reasons. One, because I feel like I'd have to put all of the intro songs in. So I'd have to extend it to a top 15 instead of a top 10. And then the other reason is I only really know the songs that are used in the show. So there are some songs that are obviously loved, but they're not actually in the show. They're just part of the albums and stuff. But yeah, the not just the fights, the music, the actual characters themselves, the story. I really just love the whole story and the lore and how they've just season on season built up the story. Maybe not in season 9, but that's obviously because it's way more grounded. The characters, as I say, the characters' development, the world that we've seen a hell of a lot of Remnant. Yeah, just there's so many elements to RWBY that I really enjoy. So yeah, that's that. And you know what, actually, yeah, we might as well keep this open because we're about to wrap things up. So that was the Rooster Teeth farewell stream. That obviously this whole second half of the video hasn't been very much talking about Rooster Teeth. It's been more so talking about Rooster Teeth content and RWBY, because RWBY's probably the thing I've enjoyed the most out of everything Rooster Teeth content related. But yeah, if there's one, and then actually, yeah, sorry, since we've been discussing RWBY, that's probably the thing that I am most keeping it. This is the thing that I'm keeping an eye on the most in terms of what's happening going forward. Is the show? I'm really hoping that someone picks it up so that we can continue the story, even if it means we only get one more season. Like they've got to take volume 10. They've got to just basically condense the whole story into one final volume. Even then, I just much rather would see the show get an ending, even if it is just a one final season picked up by some other company. Better to have the show get an ending than no ending at all, is what I would say. Yeah, but I certainly don't think. I certainly think RWBY is a fantastic show and continued to be a fantastic show after volume 3. Yeah, it maybe went off. It maybe tailed off a little bit. Volume 4 was very, very slow. Volume 5 was story-wise was good, but the fights in Volume 5 were terrible. And there was probably too many characters in Volume 5. It was very difficult to keep track of it all. Volume 6 was definitely a step up and an improvement. And I know people love Volume 7, and some people think Volume 7 might be the best volume since Volume 3. I think Volume 7's a good volume, and it obviously has, in my opinion, the best fight. But I actually think I enjoy Volume 8 more than I enjoy Volume 7. I think I would probably put Volume 4 below Volume 5. I think Volume 4 is the worst simply because it's too slow. But Volume 5 is not much better. I think the only thing that's good about Volume 5 is just the expansion of the story. And the fact that a lot of important things do actually happen in Volume 5. Yeah. I don't know where I stand on Volume 9, actually. I mean, you could make a case Volume 9 is actually the worst volume, but I don't know. We'll see. But anyway, yeah, that's a whole other conversation as well. Like, we could do... What was it I said earlier? I could do a stream on... I can't remember. I could have sworn I said something earlier in the live stream saying, oh, I could do a live stream about something Red versus Blue related. I can't remember. But I could do a whole live stream talking about RWBY and the story as well. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Maybe that's somewhere down the line in the future. But yeah, this was the Rooster Teeth live stream. This was me talking about my opinions of Rooster Teeth, the impact Rooster Teeth has had on me as a gamer, as a content creator, as a content viewer of YouTube videos. Yeah, I am very, very sad to see Rooster Teeth, to know Rooster Teeth's not going to be there anymore. And even though obviously there's not been that much content uploaded to YouTube on Rooster Teeth in the last few years, outside of Achievement Hunter / Let's Play, it will feel strange. I'll certainly have way less videos to watch now on YouTube in my free time, but it's yeah, it'll feel very, very strange. And my biggest hope is that all as many of the people that I enjoyed watching, like Gus, Jeff, Jack, Barbara, Michael, Trevor, Alfredo, Gavin, Kerry, but obviously Kerry's more so just RWBY in general, and anyone else that I've missed, I hope that if they do set up their own individual projects and continue working together, I hope that I can, you know, hear about their channels, find out about their channels, subscribe to their channels, and just keep up to date with them. And yeah, the biggest one for me is obviously RWBY, and I hope RWBY does continue. But yeah, and for anyone else that I haven't mentioned, because I either just don't know them or their background employees that obviously were very important to the company, but obviously weren't in front of the camera, so were less well known. I certainly hope that all of them go on to have fantastic careers in whatever they do, because I think they got to live a dream that many, many, many people would have loved to have lived. I think if I was lucky enough, I can't see it ever happening, but if I was lucky enough to be employed to work at a company like Rooster Teeth, I certainly don't think I would take it for granted. If I got the opportunity to play video games for a living, I think it would be arguably the best job I could possibly ask for. So yeah, I hope that they all enjoyed their time at Rooster Teeth, and I hope that they can continue to make content that they were making at Rooster Teeth, or just make content that they would love to make. And yeah, I won't keep us any longer. We'll see you guys for the next video, live stream, whatever it may be, sometime in the near future. Goodbye, guys. You ever wonder why we're here?